Hi there, my name is Dr. Catherine Capio. I'm an assistant professor in the Early Childhood Education Department of the Education University of Hong Kong. I'm happy to introduce you to this presentation by one of our PhD students, Ms. Charla Saamong. This presentation was about practices that they did in the Philippines in terms of promoting children's physical health and well-being. So this presentation was originally shared with undergraduate students of the EC department in the course Promoting Children's Physical Health and Well-being.
Good day, everyone. I'm Charla Rochella S. Saamong, currently a doctoral student in our university. And for this session, I will be sharing about my experiences as a preschool teacher in the Philippines on promoting children's health and well-being. So before we begin, let me introduce you to the contents of my presentation. Firstly, I will talk about the brief context of the Philippine guidelines for early childhood education curriculum. And then we will zoom in at the Child Development Center in the University of the Philippines, where I used to work. And then third, I will be sharing examples of activities and strategies of promoting health and well-being of young children. And finally, I will be sharing some of closing remarks and reflections about my insights and experiences. So first, in the context, in the Philippines, we have national curriculum standards. And in the Philippines, there are two government agencies which are assigned to oversee the curriculum and the implementation. One is the ECCD Council, which covers the age 0 to 4. And the other one is the Department of Education for children who belong to the 5 years old and above. So for the first one, the ECCD Council, these are the pictures of the standards and guidelines. So they have learning resource packages which are used as guides by educators in the Philippines. So I got there an excerpt on the goals of the curriculum in terms of physical health, well-being, and motor development as follows. So it says, act in conformity with what is on the environment, moving according to what seems comfortable and appropriate, and participate to perform well the competencies learned with appropriate body balance and coordination. So inside the guidelines, there are more specific objectives and goals for the young children. So same goes with the curriculum guidelines and standards and competencies by the Department of Education in the Philippines. It's called Standards and Competencies, and it says, children are expected to develop both their fine and gross motor skills to be efficient and effective movers. They are also expected to acquire an understanding of good health habits and develop their awareness about the importance of safety. So these curriculum standards, being the national guidelines, are being followed by the teachers, by the educators, and for whoever works with young children in the Philippines, both in the private and public setting. So now I will be zooming in. I will be touring you virtually in the center, in the school where I belong. So this is the UP Child Development Center at the University of the Philippines. So this is the picture of our outdoor playground in its new building. So please allow me to share with you some of the background of the school. So the UP Child Development Center is a laboratory school. It's actually a preschool attached to the University of the Philippines. I'm sure you have one. We have one of like this in this university. It also has programs for infants as young as 3 months old. We have classes for toddlers and preschoolers until 5 years of age. And approximately every year, we cater to 170 children. So the UPCDC classes last for 3 hours during the face-to-face classes. But since we have adopted a remote or hybrid learning, the online sessions are held for only twice a week at a maximum of 1 hour, depending on the age of the children. So some sessions are shorter. Okay, so these are more some of the pictures of our outdoor play space. So as you can see, the children are free to move about, and there are adults sitting on the side. There are students who observe children. So there are water tables, sand area, and inside the classroom, this is how it looks like, typically looks like. We have areas for rest, for self-help skills, and for hygiene. We have tables and shelves for toys. So that's how it looks like. And then, of course, I go now to the ways or strategies to promote the children's health and well-being. This is a very brief summary, So first, we promote it by allowing for opportunities for play within their time in the school. So there's a balance of indoor and outdoor play. There's a balance of child initiated and teacher initiated. There's also a balance between individual play and group play. So all those types or opportunities are incorporated in the 3-hour period of the children. Second, we also promote their physical health and well-being through the class routines and schedule. As you can see in the picture, it's prepared and made appropriate for the age and needs of the children. So as you can see, there's a time for activity-based, teacher-initiated activities, experiments, but there are also times for outdoor play, snack time. We also do self-help where they brush their teeth, wash their hands, change their clothing. So all of those are embedded in the daily activities. So other ways through which we promote physical health and well-being are in the form of activities, teacher-prepared activities. So we have prescribed formats, and the teachers prepare weekly plans and activity plans. So it is prepared on a weekly basis. There's no, not usually lesson plans that are hard and fast rules on planning activities, but the teachers are flexible. They could be flexible in adopting weekly plans and activity plans to incorporate the needs, interests, and characteristics of the students. So I have here some photos or examples, actual examples of activities that we did. So the first one on the left is a pair body tracing for 5-year-old children. So this allows body awareness, fine motor skills in tracing, and peer collaboration. So in this activity, the children are just given big papers and markers, and they are asked to find a partner or a friend, and they will measure their body by tracing. And then later on, they will compare who is taller, who is smaller, etc. And then the second one on the right, it's another activity. It's called the cloth tunnel play. This is for younger children, particularly in the infants and toddlers. So this allows them to cross from one end to another by performing suitable movements. So as you can see in this two activities, two teacher-prepared activities, the needs and the ages of the children are being considered. Next, this is another kind of activity that we do to promote physical health and well-being. This is actually, the picture on the left is actually a teacher-made material made out of pipes. And this was positioned in the outdoor space, as you can see. And this encourages very young children to reach and pull themselves up, cruise sideways, and balance themselves. So that became a staple in the outdoor play space, and the children are free to manipulate and move about, of course, with the guidance and assistance of adults. And we also see the picture on the lower right. We also see the variations in the way that children use the similar equipment. So as you can see, even if with similar equipment, children of different ages use it differently. So as you can see here, the little boy is able to stretch his leg up so he can reach the top of the pipe. Okay, so we can see a lot of variations, and there is really no one way of dictating to children what they should do. They could really be creative in using the equipment. Okay, so I'm on my last slide. So this includes my closing and reflections of my sharing this morning. First, children benefit the most from a holistic approach and strategies that are integrated in their routines. As we've seen in my presentation, the activities that promote physical health and well-being are integrated. They're not necessarily separate from an activity that they usually do in class. Second, dispositions on physical health and well-being begin developing during the early years. And teachers, as teachers, we could be role models for healthy habits. The children look up to us, the children listen to us, and we facilitate what happens during the 3-hour sessions or the sessions they are with us. So we could be role models for healthy habits. And finally, this is my personal reflection, one of my favorite reflections as a teacher. Children need rest as much as they need play. So no matter how full the 3-hour class or the 1-hour class seems to be, always allot time for rest and quiet. So the picture on the right is me um, um, gently patting children so they could rest. So no matter how busy the day is, I always allow some minutes of rest and quiet. And that's an important factor, an important component of physical health and well-being. Okay, so with that, I thank you very much for listening to my sharing. And if you have any questions, you may email me at the email address presented in the slide. Thank you and have a nice day.